The roar of motorcycle engines echoed across the dusty parking lot as the sun dipped below the horizon. The diner's neon sign flickered, humming like an old memory refusing to fade. Inside, the warm glow of yellow light revealed a young waitress, Emily, barely 22, working the late shift again. Her tired eyes hid stories she'd never told, her gentle smile masking the storms she'd already survived. She moved between tables with practiced grace, her faded uniform neatly pressed, her hair tied back in a loose ponytail, strands falling against her freckled cheeks. Tonight felt different. There was an air of tension, heavy, unfamiliar. Then the door opened, and 6 men in leather vests walked in. The words Hell's Angels stitched on their backs made every head turn, every breath catch. If you believe in kindness, forgiveness, and second chances, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Tales. Every story we tell here is meant to remind you that even in the darkest places, light still finds a way. Emily had heard of the Hell's Angels before. Everyone in town had. They were a mix of myth and fear, men people whispered about but never looked in the eye. Yet as they sat down, she didn't see danger. She saw exhaustion. Dust-covered boots. Weathered faces. Men who looked like they'd seen too much of the world and found too little kindness in return. Her heart, fragile but brave, wouldn't let her treat them like monsters. She walked over, holding her notepad tightly, her voice trembling slightly as she said, "Good evening, gentlemen. What can I get you tonight?" They didn't answer at first. One of them, tall, broad-shouldered, his beard streaked with gray, looked up and met her eyes. The patch on his chest read Reaper. His stare was sharp, cautious, the kind of look a man carries after losing trust in humanity. He nodded once, ordering coffee for the table. Emily noticed something strange then, a tattoo on his forearm, half hidden beneath his sleeve. A black rose wrapped around a broken chain. Her breath caught. Her mother had the exact same tattoo, inked in the same place, same design. She couldn't stop staring. Her heart raced as 1,000 thoughts collided in her mind. It couldn't be. Her mother, a quiet woman who worked double shifts at a nursing home, never talked much about her past. Every time Emily asked about her father, her mother's eyes would fill with pain, and she'd change the subject. Emily had stopped asking years ago. But now, staring at that tattoo, something deep inside whispered, "There's a story here." She served their coffee, her hands trembling. The man, Reaper, noticed. "You okay, miss?" he asked gruffly. Emily forced a small smile, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, sir. It's just, my mother has a tattoo just like yours." The diner went silent. The other men looked at each other. Reaper froze, his eyes widening. For a second, he didn't breathe. His voice came out low, rough. "What's your mother's name, kid?" Emily hesitated. "Linda," she said softly. "Linda Carter." Reaper dropped his cup. Coffee spilled across the table, but no one moved. His face turned pale beneath his beard. "Linda," he murmured, like saying the name pulled open a wound that had never healed. He stood up suddenly, his chair screeching against the floor. "Is she alive?" Emily stepped back, confused and frightened. "Yes, she is." "Why?" He took a shaky breath. "Because, kid. Linda Carter was the love of my life. And I never knew she had a daughter." The room spun for Emily. The noise of the diner faded into silence. She looked at him, searching his face for answers, for truth, for some sign that this wasn't real. But she saw it, the pain, the regret, the longing. It was all there. She wanted to scream, to cry, to ask why now. Why after all these years? But all she could do was whisper, "You're my father." He nodded, tears gathering in his eyes. "I didn't even know you existed, sweetheart." Your mom left when things got bad. I was deep into the club then, running from the law, from myself. She begged me to leave that life, but I couldn't. I thought I'd lost her forever. Emily's knees went weak. She gripped the edge of the counter to steady herself. The other men quietly stood, unsure whether to stay or leave. The diner's air was heavy, thick with unspoken words. Reaper looked at her, his voice breaking. I cleaned up, you know. I'm not that man anymore. I haven't been for years. I've been trying to find her. For the first time in her life, Emily didn't know whether to feel anger or relief. All the nights she'd wished for a father, all the times she'd seen other families together, now here he was, standing before her, broken but real. The past she'd spent her life wondering about had just walked through the diner door. She excused herself and ran to the back, tears streaming down her face. Her mother's words echoed in her mind, some people aren't bad, sweetheart. They're just lost. She'd never understood what that meant until now. After her shift ended, she sat in the parking lot, trembling under the soft hum of streetlights. Reaper came out slowly, hesitant, almost afraid she'd run away. He took off his leather vest, revealing a worn cross necklace beneath his shirt. I don't expect you to forgive me, he said quietly. But I need you to know, I never stopped loving her. Or wishing for a chance to make things right. Emily looked at him for a long time. The man she feared moments ago now looked like someone begging for redemption. Her voice shook as she spoke. Come tomorrow. Meet her. I can't promise anything, but she deserves to know. The next morning, Reaper stood outside the small house where Linda lived. Emily waited beside her mother, both women silent, hearts pounding. When Linda opened the door and saw him, her hand flew to her mouth. Decades of memories flooded back, the good, the bad, the love they once shared. Tears spilled freely. No words were needed. He stepped forward slowly, and Linda let herself cry into the arms of the man she'd once loved and lost. Emily watched them, her chest heavy but full. For the first time, she felt something she hadn't felt in years, peace. Life hadn't been kind to any of them, but somehow, through pain and time, it had led them back together. Reaper apologized for the years lost, for every moment he couldn't be there. And Linda forgave him, because she saw the change in his eyes. The man who once rode with chaos now carried only regret and love. In the following weeks, Reaper began rebuilding what was left of his family. He sold his bike, took a job at a local repair shop, and spent his evenings at the diner, sharing stories, laughter, and quiet moments with his daughter. Emily learned that forgiveness wasn't forgetting, it was freeing yourself from the pain of what could have been. Her heart, once full of questions, now held answers, and hope. Months later, when the same group of bikers passed through town, they stopped by the diner again. But this time, they didn't come for trouble. They came to see the man who'd found his lost family. They came to see Reaper, now just John, a father, a man who'd chosen peace over pride. And as Emily watched him smile across the counter, her heart whispered a truth she'd never forget. Sometimes, even the roughest souls have the softest hearts. Sometimes, redemption doesn't come easy, but it's always worth the wait. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Tales, and remember, kindness can heal even the deepest wounds. Special request to all viewers. Please comment below, everyone deserves a second chance, if you believe love and forgiveness can change even the hardest stories into something beautiful.